With Gaijin reintroducing bullet hell, they're obviously pretty aware that the player base really enjoys the new game modes, and also are probably aware that the player base has been asking for new maps for a very long time. So it's, at this point, crazily long overdue and desperately needed that we get some new maps and game modes. Now, the biggest complaint I hear for top tier aircraft especially is the lack of larger maps. Personally, I actually do not like playing on massive maps unless it's directly top tier aircraft. I'm talking like the Super Hornet, or the normal Legacy Hornets, or the Eagles and whatnot. All of those aircraft, those are fine for long range BVR. But I don't want to play, these crazy long maps in like an F4S Phantom. That's besides the point. Gaijin absolutely needs to introduce larger range maps if we're going to get things like the Meteor Missile, and absolutely introduce larger maps once we get 5th gen, or even prior to this. And I'll actually add a couple different things. We also should see some new game modes. I know one of the biggest asks for, I want to say, the last probably 5 years, if not, in that time frame, has been bombers and a bomber game mode. Another big one is enduring confrontation, but for realistic battles. If you guys are not familiar, Enduring Confrontation is basically just a continuous battle. It's basically a simulator battle setup, but it would be for realistic battles. So it'd basically just be playing a couple hour long RB match. You just hop in, spawn on what you can, play for how long you can, and so on. These are all things that Gaijin is pretty, familiar with, that is being asked for by the player base, and it's not like they don't know how to do this. They've had some very good game modes that have been introduced in recent times. I mean, we've had the Seed missions recently that introduced things that everyone's been asking for in the player base. Sadly, they opted to not keep that one around, which is very unfortunate. I would have loved to have seen that in the game long term. Yes, you can technically download a map, but I'm talking actual mission-wise. And then the Bullet Hell event, which they have just now, as of the day I'm recording this, or the day prior, actually reintroduced it to the game. They had it one other run, and they went ahead and removed it. These are both game modes that could be around permanently that players would absolutely love. And the biggest complaint that we hear from Gaijin is they don't want to pull out of the player base for AirRB. However, the player base wants these game modes. So at some point, Gaijin's going to have to understand that the player base does want to see the change, and they need to understand that a majority of players, I'd argue probably 80% of players in War Thunder, would not mind waiting an additional 20 to 30 seconds per match if it meant the game was so much better. If Gaijin gave them better rewards, if Gaijin gave them better game modes, if Gaijin gave them better maps, etc. I know for a fact majority of the player base would absolutely not mind waiting, an additional time frame just to have those changes. So if Gaijin actually decides to end up doing that, and I do say, obviously desperately needed, because this is a big point in the player base. I see a lot of players turning away from the game because we don't have these features or have the new game modes and new maps, and I understand why. Anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. If you guys are not already subscribed and you made it this far in this video, please just go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It helps with the channel quite a bit. It means a lot to me and helps us get towards our next goal. I really do also appreciate if you guys would join the Discord. Links down below in the description. We recently had a raid, so we lost kind of all the members, but we're hoping to re-get that back, and it would be greatly appreciated. I do hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I want to know your thoughts are down below in the comments. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next one.